Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. It doesn't feel like Wednesday. I don't know what day it feels like. Every single time we have like a day off, I don't know about you, but it takes me a minute to figure out what day it is. And by the time I do, it's the weekend again. So go figure. So if you guys are watching this on replay, I'm Jamie Trull. I am live currently on my Balance CFO Facebook page. I am in my Financial Literacy for Women Business Owners Facebook group. If you're not in it, even if you're not a woman, come join us over there. The link should be down below. And if you're watching me on YouTube at my channel, Jamie Trull, happy Wednesday, you guys. So when you get here, say hi so that I can check and make sure that I can see your comments and I can make sure you can hear me, because I've definitely done a live before where nobody could hear me. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different, but is more something that's really passionate to me. So before, a lot of you guys are kind of not new to this group, maybe have been around for a little while, but before all the COVID craziness, we talked a lot about strategy and profitability and how to make sure that your business is running profitably. So I want to kind of take it back a little bit on that. We're still going to talk about stimulus stuff. I have a special live on Fridays for that specifically. So if you have questions about PPP, EIDL, all of that, come on over on Friday, 1:30 p.m. Central Time, because I will take all of your questions and give you any updates, which there aren't a whole heck of a lot right this second on those things. But that's for Friday. Today, we're going to go into some other kinds of content. So yes, I see Ben or Benji asking me if the video will be saved for watching later. It absolutely will be. You're watching me on YouTube, so you will be able to see it on YouTube. It's also going to be available as a replay on Facebook too. So if you would rather come back and watch it, you can. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about profitability. And what I really want to talk about is scaling your business profitably, because I think for a lot of you guys, you probably ran into a very similar problem that I ran into not much more than a year ago. I was sitting in a spot where I was a service-based entrepreneur. I was self-employed. I didn't have any full-time employees, just, a contractor that helped me. And I got to the point where I was just exhausted. I was working one-on-one with clients. I was putting everything into delivering those services. And I don't know about you guys. So to take you back and talk a little bit about me, the reason that I left my corporate gig. So I worked for Coca-Cola Enterprises, which was the biggest bottling company for Coca-Cola for 10 years. That was the bulk of my professional career was there. And I was in finance there and leadership. And I liked my job, but it was a lot. I was working crazy hours. And when I was pregnant with my second child, my daughter, I kind of stopped and said, okay, I need to have, a moment of clarity for myself around what I really want in life. So at that point, it was when I had my daughter, I left my job, we moved to Nashville, we made a million different, I don't know if you guys do this, but when we make life decisions, we make them all at once. So we changed everything all at once. My husband left his job. I left my job. We moved to Nashville, which is our home, my home, to where I was raised most of my life. And I took some time off for a little while when my daughter was young. So at that point, I had a 3-year-old and a baby. And then I decided, you know what, I want to do work, but I could not see myself going back into this full-time workforce, 60, 70, 80 hour a week in an office type environment. So for me, I decided, okay, I'm going to start my own business. So it started as something where I just took on clients. The amount of hours in the beginning, it wasn't so bad because it was just for some extra spending cash. And I just took on clients when I wanted to. And then when I decided that I wanted it to be bigger, I got to that point where I had taken on the clients that I could, and I was working all the time. And I wasn't making even half, not even close to half of what my old corporate salary was. And I felt like I was working just as much. And even more than that, I was working just as much, but my mental health was worse because I was so invested in my own business. I cared so much about it. It wasn't like I could disconnect when I left from work. I was connected all the time. So let me know if this resonates with anybody else or if this is just me. But I just hit this point where I was like, I am working constantly. And a lot of it wasn't even client delivery work. You don't realize until you get into business, oh, I am, as a self-employed person, I am my own marketing team. I am own bookkeeper. I am my own, salesperson. I am my own admin, right? Like you're all of those things all at once. And so that's where I sat a year ago. I'd maxed out my client load. I wasn't making what I wanted to make. And I was tired. Honestly, I was tired. And I think that that's the problem. Then I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I know I have a good business. I just need to be able to scale it, right? So let's first talk about, and we talk a lot about scaling, right? Like scaling a business. And I think people sometimes conflate scaling a business with growing a business. They're not the same, you guys. So I'm going to tell you the difference between scaling in a business and growing a business. Growing a business it's hard, but it's not as hard, right? Growing a business is getting more business in the door, getting more revenue. But a lot of times what happens when people grow their business is that they get more revenue, but they aren't necessarily becoming more profitable, right? They aren't necessarily making more money or making more percentage profit than they were before. Scaling a business is allowing your business to grow and taking away those barriers to growth and actually being more profitable on a percentage basis than you were before, right? So we always think of growing. Growing and scaling are not the same. You can grow without scaling, right? Scaling is what helps allow real profitable growth to happen in your business. And the very first thing usually, so let's just take it back before we get into anything crazy. The very first way to start setting up an ability to scale your business is by automating. So you have got to start. So if you're in that spot where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all the things. Well, the first thing that I had to do back in the day when I was like, wait a second, I'm working all the time. And yet, a lot of it isn't even on client delivery. It was just on all these other things. It was on contracts and, all that stuff that just takes time. The first thing you have to do is automate. So I'm not going to get into a lot on that today, but know that if you're in that spot where you just feel like your time is crunched all the time, the very first thing you need to look at if you're self-employed is how can I automate some of the things that I am doing? Or maybe it's outsourcing to a virtual assistant so that you can focus on the things that you are best at and that only you can do, right? So you can hire I started with a virtual assistant 5 hours a week, but it just helped get the stuff off of my plate that other people could do so that I could actually focus on growing my business, right? So automating, looking at what things are taking you, make sure you're doing a time audit to figure out like, how long are these things actually taking me so that you can take off some of those things so you can set up processes. We're in the information technology age, you guys. There is an app for everything. There is an app for everything. And there can be a little bit of a learning curve to get to that point where you adapt and you can actually use them. And sometimes we're like, oh, I just don't want to go through like learning a whole new thing. So you don't do it at all. But then the amount of time that could have saved, a little bit of time investment up front to figure things out, can save you so much on the back end. So make sure that if you're in that spot where you're tired and working all the time and you're just like, I'm not making the amount of money I want to make, a lot of it may be that you're doing things that could be automated. So start there. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, I think that's people just think grow and scale. They almost use them as synonyms. Like, I'm going to grow and scale my business, but they're two different things, right? Growing is a totally different thing than scaling. And a lot of people actually grow themselves less profitably. So an example of this, an example of growing versus scaling, right? So you have clients and you decide, okay, I'm going to I've got too many clients, so I'm going to bring on somebody else full time, right? Like, and I'm going to bring on somebody, I got to pay them $50,000 to help me in my business. Well, let's say maybe you increased your revenue by 50,000, but then you also increased your cost by 50,000. Sure, you grew, your revenue top line is higher, but how's that really going to help you on the back end, right? So that's growth. Or sometimes growth might be like, it's focusing on kind of that top line of more revenue, but not necessarily being more profitable, right? Keeping more of your money, which growth doesn't really matter if you're not profitable. Okay, so I want to talk about after we go through systems. That's kind of number one. Let's go through systems. If you've gone through that and you're like, I am still at this point where I need more time. I need to stop trading dollars for hours. even if you're not in a job where, let's say, they pay you on an hourly basis, a lot of service businesses and sometimes even product businesses, for you guys who are actually hand making things, my handmade sellers, they are heavily dependent on your own time, right? Like that is all heavily dependent on your time. And you are trading dollars for hours, even if it's not even if it's I make something, right? If it takes you 2 hours to make a $50 product that you get $50 for, and you spent, $10 to make the product, right? So you put in $10 to make the product, you sold it for $50, so you made $40, but you worked for 2 hours. So you made $20 an hour, right? So we're all in some way, if we're in a business like that, you are in essence trading dollars for hours. So yeah, exactly. So Samara, you know what I mean, right? I mean, you are in essence, even though it's not like you're charging someone an hourly rate, you're still trading dollars for hours. Your hours are worth a dollar amount. And the first thing I want you to do is, do you know the dollar amount that your time is worth? So some of you guys might be independent contractors and you know exactly what you get paid on an hourly basis. That's easier. But if you're a handmade seller, if you're a service businesses that sells packages, right? A lot of accountants don't charge per hour anymore. They have a package, right? Where you charge for a certain amount of things that you do. Do you know what you're making on a per hour basis? And do you know that all in? So what do I mean by that? I don't mean, you probably know how much revenue roughly you make on a per hour basis. But remember, you got costs too, you guys. So do you know how much profit you're making on a per hour basis? If you don't, and you haven't gotten it yet, I have a great worksheet. It's totally free. It's linked above if you're watching me on Facebook. It's linked below if you're watching me on YouTube. It is a by hour spreadsheet. I'll actually jump into it really quickly here. Hang on just one second, and I can pull it up, because I'm not going to run through the entire thing, because I have a whole tutorial on YouTube. If you download that worksheet, you will see it. You will see the link to the video in the email that you'll get. But I'm going to show you just really quickly an example of what I mean, so that you guys can get an idea. And then make sure to watch the video tutorial when you get it. But again, it's if you go to jamietrull.com/by hour. This is a new freebie that I made because I think it's so important that we know what we're getting paid for our time. And then you can do the assessment of, does that make sense? Or do I need to do something here, right? Like, does that even make sense? So I'm just going to show you super duper quickly what I'm talking about. Okay, this is going to be real hard to see. Let me blow this up quite a bit. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this. But basically all I've had in here is you put in your revenue on a product or service basis. So even if it's like over 6 months, you get, or maybe you have a 10-month contract and you get $100 a month. So the full thing that you're selling is $1,000. Maybe you have $200 of direct supply costs that go with it. This is especially true if you're making a product, right? And then you have kind of your gross profit before you consider your own owner labor. Maybe you have contractors too. So you could put, if you've got contractors you're paying that deliver that service or product, you can put that in here too. Anyway, you're going to figure out what that total gross profit is, i.e. what you make after your direct costs to produce that product or service. Then you're going to come down. So in this case, I had $1,000, $200 of cost. So my gross profit's $800. The total number, let's just say that I sell in a year, let's call it 50. And you can do this for several different services or products. I have different ones that can add up together, but I'm just saying in the case of this, we have one product, one service that we're selling. So our total gross profit by service is 40,000. Okay, cool. Good to know. Now I want you to factor in your owner labor though, right? Value your time. You guys know, I say it all the time, value your time, value your time, value your time. So let's say you actually put in to deliver that $1,000 worth of service over that contract term. It will take you about 20 hours. So you work the math out, that's $40. Okay. That's, and you can sense check that with whether that makes sense to you based on what would you make if you were an employee of someone. Does that amount make sense to you? But then remember, we also have other costs we have to pay as a business. So and other things that we have to do. So I want you to put in your total annual operating costs. This is totally estimated. Go to your tax return, go, see what all those other costs are. Talking about insurance, software, marketing, all the other things you maybe spend money on, and total that up and put that in here. That's going to estimate your net profit. Again, this is all just an estimation, right? You may be able to just pull this off of your tax return as well. And then I want you to try to guess at how many hours you spend on a weekly basis performing the duties for your business. Okay. So I'm not talking about the actual client delivery, the stuff, or the product delivery, the actual hands-on stuff that you're doing. I'm talking more about marketing, sales, any back office stuff, all the other things that you do that aren't necessarily kind of billable, that aren't necessarily related directly to the product or service that you're delivering. Then that will kind of average out, right, to the total number owner hours worked annually. So it's basically going to take, okay, your total number of hours you said you worked up here on this service, plus your total number of hours for business development, come up with a total. And then it'll give you like an average hours per week. You can just sense check that. If it's saying that you work 10 hours a week and you really work like 50, then something, you probably underestimated the time you're spending either on your product or service or in your business development. And then it's going to give you a total owner pay. So in this case, you're making $15 an hour. And you could say, I have something to say to you, Jeff, here in a minute. I'm going to get to you here in a minute, Jeff. So yeah, Bree, you don't have this worksheet. You need to get this. It's a new worksheet. That's why. It's a new one. JamieTrull.com/by hour. But it is going to kind of tell you, okay, here's how much I'm making. You can take that and say, okay, is $15 an hour worth it for what I'm doing? Now, if you're in the very beginning stages of business, or if this has changed significantly due to COVID-19, that's to be expected, right? Like that is to be expected. You may have some differences there. But overall, right? You need to kind of sense check when things are good, when things are normal, are you making enough per hour to really justify what you're doing? And if you're not, there's a couple of things that you can do. If you're not, you might have to raise your prices. Okay. And if you're not, you might have to look into your costs. Are you spending too much? And those are really the first things you need to do. And then we're going to talk about scaling, because that's the other option. If you're like, no, I can't raise my prices, I cannot cut my costs any further, that's all I can do. If that's the case, or save time. The other one is saving time. Again, we talked about process improvement and automation. Those are the three ways you can kind of make more on a per hour basis. But if you can't, if you're at that spot where like I'm at my ceiling, that's where we have got to talk about scaling. Got to talk about scaling. If you are not making what you want to make per hour and you're like, I can't do anything else, which is what I hear all the time, you got to find a process to scale. Okay. So, and should you start at minimum? I mean, do you want to make minimum wage? I would think that, again, maybe the first year of business, that might be something that would be fine. But I would guess you're hoping in your business, you've got hopes and dreams to actually make a business that's livable. Minimum wage is not livable, you guys. It's really not. So make sure that this time and effort that you're putting in is paying off. Right? And especially the longer you get in your business, the more you want to be looking at this. I'm going to talk to Jeff for a second here, because Jeff was talking about all the different things that he writes off. Okay. So this is common misconception. I'm not going to get into this a lot. Don't do that to yourself. A lot of people think, okay, well, I'm writing off of all these things, so it's making it look like I'm not making any money. You're not making any money. Tough love. The amount of money that is left as profit to you is ultimately the amount of money that you can take out of your business and pay yourself. If there is nothing left there, you are working for free. You would not, and I go off, I have a whole soapbox about this, but you would not, if two jobs came to you and said, okay, I'm going to offer you $100,000, and another one said, I'm going to offer you $50,000. Same job, everything's exactly the same about them, same amount of work, all the things exactly the same. Which one are you going to take? There is 0% of you that are going to say, I'm going to take the $50,000 job because I don't have to pay as much in taxes, because that doesn't make sense. So don't do that in your business either. Don't buy things. Now, if there are things, obviously make sure to write off the things that you need, right? But if in writing off all the things that you need, you don't make any money, you don't have a viable business. It's a hobby at most. You don't have a viable business. You're not going to be able to really, really, truly make any kind of comfortable living off of that. And by the way, it's also going to make it hard for you to get a loan, a home mortgage. It's going to make it hard for you you won't have any Social Security when you retire someday. These earnings that you're paying Social Security taxes on, those pay you later. If you aren't paying into Social Security because you don't have any profit, you're not going to get anything back. So don't hurt yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot trying to get down to zero so you don't have to pay taxes, because what's happening then is you're spending more money than you need to be, and you want to be profitable, you guys. Okay, that's not the point of this. It's not the point of this specific one, but I had to do that because Jeff kind of set me up on that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So that's really how this works. And I want you to kind of play around with this. I'm going to take this down for now, but I want you to download this. I want you to play around with it a little bit and see where you're at and see what you might be able to change. Now, if you're at that point where you're like, I got to scale, tell me how. There are two probably most common ways to scale after you've automated and all of that. You can hire, right? We scale by hiring. Now, if you are not making money, if you do this by hour and you're making $15 an hour for what you do, if you hire someone and have to pay them to deliver client work, right? To do, like, let's say you're an accountant and you hire on someone to go do this work for you, you think you're going to be profitable then? Because now you got to pay a contractor to do what you were doing. So if you weren't making much per hour before and you bring someone on to help you, you're going to grow, you're going to have more revenue, but your profitability is going to tank, because now all of a sudden you got a ton more. So actually, I'm going to put this back up. So in that case, so now I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to deliver this work. I am going to hire someone to do it for me. And let's say for the 20 hours of work that you're going to give up, you have to pay them $400. Okay. So let's get that $400 out of here. We've added kind of some labor costs up here, but now we can take these 20 hours down here because you're not doing it anymore. You've hired someone to do it. Let's see how much you make per hour now. Oh, gee. So now all of a sudden we have increased our revenue, but you're making less money per hour that you work. How? What was the point of you hiring someone, right? So it is an interesting thing to really play around with and kind of figure it out. Oh my gosh, we got, I can't tell who you are, Facebook user, but you're getting ahead of me and I will get there. Okay. So yes, so you can hire. I personally did not want to hire a giant team. Also, you need to make sure if you are hiring a team, you probably got to up your prices. So I typically tell people, even if you're working just yourself and you're self-employed, make sure that your business is profitable such that if you hired someone to do the work, you would still be profitable. Because otherwise, when you hire someone, you're going to have to up your prices so much that, it's going to make it difficult for your clients. So just start with having in mind that, no, I want to outsource this to someone at some point, if that's the business model you want, which is hiring, right? And make sure that you're pricing profitably and make sure that your costs are controlled so that you can be profitable even when you bring someone on to help you, right? But that is one way to scale. You can profitably scale if you have the right price and cost structure. But if you bring people in, you got to be real tight on all of that. You've got to have budgets. A lot of times people can get away without that when they're self-employed. When you have people coming on that you have to pay, you have to be so much more diligent with your money and making sure that your business is profitable. So that's kind of phase one. And a lot of people, a lot of accountants go that direction. And so I kind of wrestled with, okay, I can't scale, taking myself back to a year ago, I could hire someone, but would they be good enough? Could they do what I would do? Then I got to manage people. Do I really want to do that? Do my prices? Yes, I can kind of probably maneuver with my prices to still be profitable, but is that going to be the growth that I want? Is that going to be the way that I want to scale my business? I decided the answer was no. And instead, I decided to scale my business a second way, which is to create a scalable product of sorts, right? An online product that I can sell, and each one that I sell does not cost me incremental time significantly. I mean, maybe minutely, but I'm not putting 3 hours into each one that I sell, right? I'm making a thing and then I'm selling it, and that can scale and make money. And I just continue to bring in new people, right? And they will buy the thing that I have and buy that online course. And for me, I like that too, because look, if I am scaled via hiring people, I'm still limited. Like I would have to have a huge team to be able to serve anywhere near the amount of people that I want to serve. I have ambition to serve as many people as I can. I'm passionate about my message about financial literacy. I want everybody to know about it. I want every business owner to be able to gain control of their business finances. I'm so passionate about it. The only way I can do that is if I teach a significant amount of people at one time. That's the only way that I can do it. How do I do that? I have an online course. So people do this, like software is another example, developing software or an app. I wish I could do that. That would be amazing. That's a great way to scale your business, right? Having like software as a service where you're providing, something and you get recurring revenue every single month for people using your service. I'm using StreamYard right now to go live. They're making money off me. They're not really doing anything. They're keeping up with product development and things like that. You do still have to have a team. But I'm not a software developer, nor do I want to be. So I'm probably not going to be doing that. So for me, making an online course was the best thing I could have done for my business, especially at the point where I was like, look, I know I have a message. I know I have something that can help. I really want to help people. And, I'm in, right? Like I want to do this. But I just didn't know how. Honestly, a year ago, I didn't know how. I'm scrappy. I could probably piece things together, but I will tell you, it's so much easier when you have a method. So I know a lot of you guys have been reaching out to me over the last couple of days because you guys know, not a secret, I am currently partnering with Amy Porterfield for her launch of Digital Course Academy. It's what I took last year that changed my business. I feel so strongly about it. I'm not selling it because I make money, although I do. I get affiliate commissions off of everybody who buys through my affiliate link, which is amazing. But I'm just super passionate, especially in the times of COVID, you guys. Forbes said, and this was a couple of years ago, Forbes said that the online education industry was going to grow to $325 billion by 2025. I think we're probably close to there already because of COVID and everything moving online. And I have a sustainable business through all of this because my business was online. And I've been able to, there would have been zero ability for me to show up for the people in my audience the way that I wanted to show up as I did for you guys and have for you guys through all the COVID-19 craziness and have the time to actually spend learning the rules, right? A lot of accountants just didn't have the time because they were working one-on-one with clients. I don't have any more one-on-one clients. I gave them all up so that I could serve a greater group of people and have a bigger impact. And that's really, really important to me. And so for me, not only has online courses helped me be able to make a lot more money than I could have working my dollars per hours and actually scale my business, but it also has helped me to be able to have impact that is far greater than I would have been able to have doing anything else. And I get really, I like almost get emotional about this because I feel so strongly about it. So I want to tell you guys today, Digital Course Academy is open. If you guys want to get in on it, it's the first time this year that it's been open since the last year I joined. It's going to be huge. It's amazing. I know a lot of you guys know Amy. For those of you guys who don't know Amy, I want you to go to the masterclass. I've linked it above. Her live masterclass, it's free. It's the beginning of when things started to change for me last year. So I want you to go check it out. Give it a shot, learn about it. Even if you don't know what your course would be, even if you haven't really thought about it, like I want you to go check it out and think about it. Okay. And just listen to the free information that she gives you because she gives so much free information. She's so amazing. See if you like her teaching style. I do. I resonate with it significantly. But I want you to go check that out if you haven't already. I know a lot of you guys have already, like I've got hundreds of you guys that are already going, which is amazing. But if a lot of you guys, and here let's see. So somebody says they really want to sign up for the course. Okay, go sign up. Go check it out above. And Jacqueline, I saw yours come through. So I'm partnering with her. So if you buy through my bonus link, you get, and I saw that you did, Jacqueline, you get all of my bonuses worth over $1,400. You guys, I put a ton into these bonuses. It was everything that I wish that I had had, like all the things. And there's a million things. DCA has everything, but there were a few things that I was like, oh, this would have made things even easier. And so I've packed those into my bonuses. So go check that out above and check out my bonuses. If you go through my page, so you just click like sign up for DCA, on my page, on my bonus page, it'll take you to Amy's page where you'll actually see everything she has, and then you can buy there. And then you'll kind of get credit to me. You can send me a DM if you want to and just say, hey, I bought, so I can check and make sure you're showing up on my list. Because then you'll be able to get all of my bonuses as well, totally for free. It costs you nothing. So, and it helps me, which, is great. So, but I do want to get as many of you guys in there as possible. I'm going to be a DCA ambassador this year. So I'm actually going to be, that's kind of, I don't know if I'm really supposed to tell you guys that, but I'm going to be in DCA with you, helping answer questions. She has about 5 to 7 ambassadors that are in there to help you guys through DCA, which is a live Facebook community. If you buy through my link, you get Zoom happy hours with me, you guys. So that's exciting. So it's going to be so good. But doors close next week. So like today is the first day. If you buy today, you get the most value, because the way that Amy's lives work, or that her masterclasses work, essentially the earlier you buy, the more you get. So she'll have bonuses that are announced today and tomorrow. She'll have some bonuses that are announced in a couple of days, and she'll have some more bonuses that are announced at the very end. Okay. So if you're waiting, don't wait. Because if you buy now, especially if you buy within the next hour and a half, you get all of them. You get all of the bonuses. So if you buy early, you don't get penalized for buying early. Okay. So I am encouraging people to go and buy. If you buy before her first masterclass, you get them all. Otherwise, you can jump on one of those master classes and buy on one of those master classes, and you'll get everything too. But I just am passionate about this program. I want you guys to walk through it with me. I want to be there with you. I have an awesome, I'm doing like a whole training on essentially how to make sure, we talked about profitability. How do we make sure that your course launch is profitable, right? Because even with that, especially that first course launch, a lot of people don't necessarily have a good view. Like, how much do I spend on Facebook ads? Do I need to do Facebook ads? How much can I expect to be coming in, right? It can help you set those expectations for your launch. It'll help you price your course, which is something that was like really hard for me. And so I have a whole system for how you price your course in there. I've also got, oh my gosh, I've got a guide on growing a profitable Facebook group. So growing a Facebook group of engaged people, which is like my jam. You guys know that this group has gone from 0 to over 30, almost 30,000. And I have some tips and things like that you can use, even though you have a different niche, you can use them as well to help grow yourself a Facebook group, to help you have a profitable launch as well. I have some cool graphics and a little training that, those cool like stat graphics, you guys have probably seen them. It's hard to explain, but if you go to the page, you'll see it. So Liza Hippler, who's my brand strategist, she makes like these mock-ups where it shows like all the things that are in your course, right? So show all the little PDFs and they'll make it look really pretty and cool. She gives you a training on how to do your own like that, so that you can have like the most professional looking graphics you can use for sales pages. You can use them for Facebook ads. Plus she'll give you some additional social media templates that you can customize in Canva. It's awesome. Plus, like I said, Zoom happy hours with me. So we're gonna do monthly happy hours. I'm really excited about that. I just wanna hang out with you guys, kind of help you work through any issues you're having, going through your course ideas. I wanna connect with you guys because I really, as this group has grown bigger, it's been harder to connect on that personal level. So with this, I really wanted to make sure that that was there. And to that point, hang on a second. Oh, Kali just joined. Yay, I'm so glad. That's awesome. Hang on, let's see. And I'm going back. Yes. So that's what we're talking about. Yes, that's what my free bonus is totally about: scaling and profitability and making sure you're profitable. So it all aligns. Thanks, Cindy. Yes, Cindy was in DCA with me last year, so she knows how awesome it is. Okay. Hang on, I can help you. You're confused with Amy's free courses. I started one and then heard about another and signed up, and now I don't know which I'm supposed to be watching. Go to either. So if you're talking about the masterclass, go to either of them, okay? And just make sure that you're signed up. She'll send you reminders probably of which one. You can go to whichever one you want to. I recommend going to the earlier ones because sometimes I think she has a bonus that's just today and tomorrow. So you might want to go to one of the earlier ones. Yay, I hope you signed up through my link. And if you guys do sign up for my link, just make sure, send me a DM because I want to make sure that I have categorized everybody because sometimes there can be a glitch and I want to make sure you get all my bonuses. But if you go through that bonus page, you will get them. Let's see. Okay. I have a whole diatribe I won't go into now about being ready. I didn't think I was ready last year either. It's changed my entire life. I have a whole diatribe. We will never feel ready for the things that are most important. Were you ready when I don't know if you're a mom, but were you ready when you had a kid? No. And so the thing that resonates in my head always is, is the saying that is, what is it? It's, don't wait. Oh man, now I'm losing it. I'm losing it because I'm too passionate, you guys. A year from now, you'll wish you had started today. That is the thing. And I don't mean to pressure, and I get, that there is some hesitancy and maybe cost. For me, it is 10x to my business. So I can't really say much about cost. If you guys caught I was on Amy's podcast on Monday, go listen to that episode. At the end of the episode, I'll kind of give you a spoiler alert. I actually donated to charity the sticker price of DCA. I donated to Amy's favorite charity because I wanted to show her the impact that DCA had on my life and how worth it was to me. So for me, it's a drop. Looking back, it seemed like a lot then. It's a drop in the bucket now. Okay. Yes. Do it scared. Okay. Now let me see. Oh my gosh, Martha, me too. I am such not a tech person. I actually went into it and I was like, I hate tech. I hate tech. She has a whole tech library that literally I sat down with it. I went to the tech library and it has all the tutorials, how do I hook up my webinar software to my email to make sure I'm capturing all that. Literally, it just walks you through the whole thing. She has all these video tutorials. I just sat down. There's a whole Facebook ads training. I had never run a Facebook ad in my life. I just sat down and did exactly what they told me to do and ran Facebook ads for the first time. It's all in there. It's not just about creating a course. It's about selling a course. And that, I think, was the thing that was most beneficial for me about it, was all the amazing information about actually selling the course to make sure that you can have a profitable launch. So I have so many things I could say about this, but I'm going very long. I'm going to check really quickly because I think we're out. I had a fast action bonus. I think we're out, but I'm just going to check. I had a fast action bonus for the first 8 signups through my link this morning. I got to jump into my thing and see. Let me see. Where my fast action bonus was actually one-on-one consults with me, 30-minute consults, which I never do anymore. And this would just be consults for course stuff. So let's see. Sorry, it takes a minute to navigate. Oh yes, we are out. Let's see. Oh, we are out. Shoot. Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you guys, if you sign up right now and then send me a DM and say I signed up. Okay. If you sign up while we're talking right now and send me a DM, I will give you a consult. If you sign up within the next 5 minutes, I will add you to the consult list. Okay. So send me that DM if you're on this and you're listening to this. You got to send that DM though within the next five minutes or whenever you're done signing up for it. And I will add some extra consults on because they are all gone, but you guys are here and you guys are part of my fam and I want to do them. So I'm doing just 30-minute consults where we can get on the phone, talk about anything that you're stuck with one-to-one. If you want to bounce course ideas off, if you want to wait till later and talk more about the sales aspect, we can do that whenever you want during DCA, which is September through December. If you are interested, go jump on and I will give you a consult. And so hopefully not 30 of you guys join on because I don't have enough time, but actually the more the merrier, come on in. But it's only good for a couple of more minutes. So just make sure you DM me after so that I know that you signed up during that time, because the timing is a little strange on here. I can't always tell the number of people, but I will tell you guys, I clearly feel strongly about this. I know some people, I'll send out emails about this stuff and they're like, why am I getting emails about online courses? I signed up because I wanted to hear about PPP. And I'm like, I know we're still talking about it, but can I talk about something else for a little while? Because this is important to me. And I think it does really actually intersect well with what I do, which is teach you guys how to have a profitable business. And that's one of my favorite things to do. And I really feel strongly that online courses are the future. Online education is the future. We have seen it. I can't tell you, and you have not missed the boat, you guys. You've not missed the boat. I can't tell you how many of people that I went to through DCA with last year have just killed it over the last 6 months. Killed it because they are offering something that people want, right? They are offering something that people, all of a sudden, we went to this online world where everybody wanted to learn. And I'm going to give you guys a quick, I meant to give this example before, but I want to give you an example if you're wondering, like, how is this going to work for me? A lot of people were hit with COVID and they're like, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to talk to you guys who are my dog walkers. Okay. I have a ton of dog walkers in here, right? So you have a couple options for scaling your business. Hire a bunch of people. Okay. That's what a lot of you guys do, right? Make sure you're pricing profitably to make sure you go do my by hour calculation, make sure that you're profitable. But you can scale that way. The other way that you can scale, but that way, right? Even with COVID, not to think that something like this is going to happen all the time, but economics play into effect. And so in time of COVID, dog walking, nobody was traveling. Not such a great business to be in for the most part, right? So what could you do? Okay, what would you teach if you did an online business? I think a lot of people, it doesn't have to be related to what you currently do, but it can be, right? It can be. So my dog walkers, if you're thinking about, well, what would I teach? Well, you could teach somebody, maybe they're having trouble like training their unruly dog or walking their dog. Like you could do a course on teaching people. And I know people that have similar courses to this and do well, like teach dog owners how to, train their dogs or better care for their dogs or whatever it is. Or go a different direction, teach other people who want to make a dog walking business, right? Who want to have a dog walking business, teach them how to do it. That's another one. How do they get clients? How do they, what do they need to do? How do they hire people? Go through, teach them the process. So, or let's say you're a dog walker, but you're like, you know what? That's not really my passion. My passion is actually, I love doing watercolor paintings of dogs or anything. Teach people how to watercolor paint. I can't tell you how many artists and creatives have killed it doing online courses. Okay. There is a market for everything, no matter how niche you are. And then sometimes having a really niche market can be a good thing. So there are endless opportunities. I just want you to think about it. If you haven't thought about it before, the first step is to go to Amy's masterclass. If you're like, I've been thinking about this for a while, I just am not sure, but now I'm really starting to think this is right for me, I want you to go jump in, sign up under my link, get all my free stuff too, and we'll chat as well. But this isn't good if you're watching this on the replay. This offer only stands if you're watching this live right now at 10:45 a.m. Central Time. Okay, guys, let me know. Let me see if I'm missing. I'm soapboxing here for a minute. Let's see. Masterclass is at 1. Would you open at a later date? Not for the consults, but all my bonuses will be available. My consults are only they were for the first 8 people. Those are long gone, but I'm going to add a couple extra for people who sign up right now. But if you buy on the webinar, you get a bunch of extra bonuses too. You still get those bonuses if you buy now. But if you want to wait for the webinar, totally understood. Still buy through my link. Get all of my other bonuses, just not the fast action one. Because I don't want to go to trading dollars for hours either. So I don't want to give away like 50 different one-on-one consults. So that's why those have to be gone pretty soon. Is it easy to find the DCA signups on your Facebook page? Is there a link you can share? Yes, it's right above you. It's right above you, jamietrull.com/DCA. Or you can hit the link above, which is a longer link, but it's just jamietrull.com/DCA. That is the link. Go there. And then when you check out my stuff, hit on sign up now or whatever it says. It'll take you to Amy's page to see all her bonuses. You do get all her bonuses too if you sign up through me. All of them. Okay. You get her Facebook group. You get all the different things that she gives you too if you sign up through me. So you don't miss anything by signing up through me. You just get a bunch of extra stuff. So I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a win-win-win for everybody. Let's see. Yes, that's if you follow through. And the thing about that is, if you do what Amy says, right, you're going to have a first launch, and then you're going to have a second launch, and then you're going to have a third launch, and you will transform your business. It's literally step by step. It's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like, here's how to sell on a webinar where she walks you through the whole thing. Here's how to run Facebook ads. Here's how to do all the tech stuff. Here's how to do it all. Here's how to write an amazing course that people are going to want to buy, right? Like, all of it is covered in DCA. So I cannot say, clearly, I don't think I need to say anything about it. Let's see. Is the class for someone that has online courses as a business only? The class is for someone who is thinking about doing online courses or online classes. Typically, an online course is something that's recorded, and an online class is more live, but she does teach some elements of that as well if you wanted to make your course live. But it is for somebody who's looking to get into that, or maybe you have one and it hasn't performed the way you want, and you're wondering how you might be able to make it better. I know a lot of people that did their own first launch and they were like, oh, well, that didn't go very well, and then joined DCA and had it and like tripled the size of their launch the next time they launched because they had the strategies that she needed. So I know Kristen's in. I saw Kristen come in. Okay. Cool. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go, and then make sure to send me that DM if you bought on while we were on this live, and I will get you in on those 30-minute one-on-ones. And if you guys are in the first masterclass, which starts in a little over an hour with Amy, I think it's all full now. I don't think you can sign up for that one, but there are other times above. If you go to where I talk about masterclass, jamietrell.com/course creation. You can find the link to her masterclass there. But if you're on the one that's in a little bit over an hour, I will see you there, because I'm also going to be listening in and watching Amy work her magic, because let me tell you, like, I would buy anything she sells. She's that good. So get her to teach you how to sell. That's the strategy. Okay. Love you guys. You're awesome. I will talk to you later. And actually next week, I'm not going to be here because I'm actually going to be in San Diego with Amy. So watch for more information about that. I'm really excited about that. Bye, guys.